Welcome back, everybody. This is Mike November Whiskey coming to you from Seoul, Korea. Again in the A320neo fly-by-wire mod. Tonight we're in the development version because we tried VNAV on the last trip in the experimental build and it was fantastic, but not quite Vatsim ready. A lot of the approaches and departures are not yet available in the McDo, but the ones that are working fabulously. So we're really excited for that being merged to the development build eventually. But while it's still such an early feature, I think we'll be in the development build for a little bit. As you can see, it is pretty soupy here in South Korea. But we do have company here, and I did want to take a quick look at the other aircraft at the airport right now, just to see if my model matching mod is still working, as I hope it is. It looks like they are just taking the runway, so we are just going to catch them on their departure. Let's see here. And yeah, no, they are also a Korean Air plane. That looks like, is that a Boeing, perhaps? On their takeoff roll, looking good. Let's just double check to see if that is the correct model for their call sign. So zooming into South Korea real quick. See a plane here on departure, and it is a Korean Airlines, and it's a Boeing 77W. So yeah, that's working quite well. So I do have a model matching file available on flightsim.to at Mike November Whiskey. And I will be updating that this coming Friday for the Cross the Pond event that's happening a week from tomorrow. Now getting a weird behavior of that jetway. Let's see if we can get that jetway connected properly. I've been noticing this error with jetways since the latest update, but that's fine. We'll just let that be. Alright, so we are headed to Tokyo tonight. Good short-ish flight. I love flying into Tokyo usually because of the views we get, but we're going to be in weather both on the departure and the approach, where that should make it a bit more technically challenging and fun to do. Yeah, so I think that's about all the preamble to give. Plenty more to talk about once we're in the plane. So let's go ahead and get things set up. So as you can see, we are cold and dark here in the cockpit. So let's get some power on. First turn on the batteries. Batteries 1, battery 2, and then connect external power. And everything comes beautifully to life. Nav and logo lights come on. We'll definitely want some integrated lights while it's so dark outside. Get the no smoking signs on to auto, emergency lights to arm, crew supply on, ground control to auto, and start aligning the IRSs, our navigation systems. And we'll keep fuel pumps off for now and the seatbelt sign off so we can refuel. But we will do our power tests. First for the APU. And both engines. Cargo smoke. And that is all good. So with those tests complete, let's get our APU started. 1, 2, 3. And that will enable us to get boarding going so we can get the bleed air into the pack system. Alright, let's get this fly pad going. Let's do the rest of our cockpit prep. Let's turn these up just a little bit. Get the glare shield set to the way we want it to hectopascals. Constraints come on. We could turn the co-pilot flight director off and turn down his screens. Alright, coming down here, let's get the ECAMs up a bit. The development build seems a bit more weathered. These panels seem a bit more aged. But let's see what else we got here. Landing gear is indicating down, the lever is up. We need that lever down. This is why we do pre-flight. Okay. That's all good. Clock is correct. It's 4 past 1 Zulu. And APU is available, so let's get that bleed air on. And we'll get boarding started in just a second. So let's check. Cockpit oxygen pressure looks good. Engine oil quantity looks good. Hydraulic fluid looks nice there as well. All right. Coming down the panel here, we are on Unicom because there's no ATC coverage where we are, but hopefully that will change. It is daytime on Saturday in Korea and Japan, so we'll see if some controllers come online. Got the integrated lights on here as well. The weather system, in particular wind shear system, is off. Hey, Mr. Crosser, how's it going? How are you this evening? You're catching us right in our pre-flight. Engine modes set to normal. Engine masters are off. And ATC and TCAS are both on standby. Good, good. Happy the week's over. Happy the week is over. Oh my god, it was a long one this week. Ground spoilers are retracted and disarmed. Flaps are up. Rudder trim is reset. Cockpit doors open. Parking brake is set. And I'm just marveling. We're back in the development build tonight. We tried out the VNAV system in the experimental build on our last flight a few nights ago, and it worked great, with the exception of the fact that VNAV, while it works, the approaches and departures are not complete. So our flight plan could not actually be flown without us having to load the departure and arrivals in manually, and I just didn't have the patience to do that. So as long as we're in Vatsim, we'll be flying in the development build until they get a bit more work done on the VNAV. But it was pretty awesome to check out. I'm exhausted from school. I believe that, man. Whether it's school or work, it's all exhausting. All right, so that initial cockpit prep is good to go. Let's get boarding started while everything else gets together. I'm really loving the weathering effects they have on the development build. This is just very cool. You can even see the wear on the pedals there. All right, AOC menu. Let's do weight balance. Send our request in. We have 116 passengers coming with us to Tokyo tonight. Not too many. We'll get that going. Alright, so while we wait for the IRSs to align and for folks to board, let's figure out our fuel situation and get our ATIS information. So, connected sim brief, that looks good, from Seoul to Tokyo. And the METARs are long and colorful tonight, so let's just pay attention to what these are telling us. Always have a notepad when you fly. So in Seoul, this is current information from 30 Zulu, and the winds are 250 at 10 knots. Visibility is 3.5 kilometers. Let's see, light rain, mist, broken layer at 300 feet, so very low ceilings, 4,500 broken layer, and then an overcast layer at 7,000. Temperature is 8 degrees, dew point 7. QNH, pretty low, 0.999. Okay. So, BECMG, I recognize that acronym. I am going to quickly look it up, just so I know what that is. It's probably some kind of cloud. Oh, it's short for becoming. Becoming 6,000. Hold on. Oh, I see. Okay, so the weather is expected to improve, but not right now. All right, so we have our QNH. Let's get that in the glare shield so we don't forget. Gonna get that down to 0.999. That's the lowest QNH we've ever had on this journey.
Boarding completed.
Boarding's completed. I have it on fast mode because it would take too long otherwise. Looking at Tokyo, we'll brief this in the air, but just to get a preview. Similar wind situation, better visibility, light showers and rain. Higher ceilings, a bit warmer, higher QNH. Some remarks there, but that's not too important for us right now. Okay, great. So the departure might be the more hairy part of this flight. Let's hop over to our OFP.
From the flight deck. On behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to see final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Sweet. I believe that is the voice of a sim streamer, if I'm not mistaken. All right, looking at our OFP, make sure everything looks good. We are Korean 908, Korean Air. Is that the call sign? Or if it's just Korean, I think it's Korean Air. Yeah, Korean Air. So we're Korean Air 9084 tonight. We're heading from Incheon, Seoul to Narita, Tokyo. We're looking at an alternate of Romeo, Juliet, Sierra, Foxtrot. Cost index of 10, flight level 390, so we're going right to the top. Triple pause is 37,000, and have a serious tailwind of 81 knots, so that should give us a bit of a boost. Block time of 2 hours and 10 minutes, but in-air time of about 1 hour and 49. And looking at the runway, we're expecting 34 right, and with winds at 250. That is a direct crosswind takeoff. But I don't think we have another option at this airport because I think all of the runways are oriented the same way. So it's as good a direction as we're going to get. We're flying the Igoba 1 Yankee, not to be confused with the Dagobah 1 Yankee. It's very close. Yeah, that's good for now. We'll brief the arrival once we're in the air. Looking at our fuel tonight, contingency of 0.4, alternates of just over 1100, and final reserve of 814, and that all seems fine. Plenty of fuel considering the conditions, so 6046 is what we'll put in here. And a quick 3-minute refueling, and that is meant to be realistic. Alright. We're getting a bunch of notifications. There's a ton of streamers online tonight. Okay, what is next? Refueling is good. We are fine with our flight plan. So, and folks are boarded. So let's go ahead and prepare the McDo right after we get our charts organized. So pull in from SimBrief. Get night mode on. It's nicer on the eyes. Alright, and let's get our charts. So, get our airport briefing 20-9. There we are at stand 23 at Terminal 1. Runway 34 right is nice and close, so it'll be a nice short taxi type. We'll just follow, I guess, Romeo's all the way to, I guess, November, and then hang a right on Sierra to maximize our takeoff roll. Perfect. So that's that, and our SID tonight is Agobah 1 Yankee. That's 1 Alpha, 1 Yankee might be towards the bottom. There it is, Agobah 1 Yankee. And let's take a look at this. So, speed restriction, that's a standard speed restriction. Oh no, actually no, sorry, it's a bit lower. It's just 230 knots, so we'll have to adjust for that. Transition altitude 14,000. If there's any notes on Agobah specifically. So it looks like initial minimum climb out is 4,000, and we'll climb from there, which is Agobah. Here we go. So we don't really get any ceilings on our climb, so we could theoretically just climb to cruise, but we'll follow these minimum restrictions on our way out just to maximize our enjoyment of the scenery on the way out. That sounds good. So initial climb out of 4,000, let's get that into the FMC. Oh, if my FMC would work. Oh, you know what? I'm still on the wrong control profiles. I was testing out the 787 earlier tonight because that is what I will be flying for across the pond next week. I'll be doing some prep videos on that next week, but let's get back to our 320 controls here. and make sure the axes are functional. I always have issues with this joystick for the tiller, but it looks like it's working tonight. Okay, play and save. And now let's try the glare shield again. Boom. Excellent. Alright, I think that's all we need for takeoff. We'll, defer the emergency procedures tonight, even though with the weather we'd probably need them. That is fine. Okay, so we have our charts. Everyone's loaded up. Let's prepare the box. So IRSs are aligned. And we do have the latest AirX cycle, which came out a couple days back. Correct engines. Heading to init A, we'll request data here. This is a bit brighter. And this all looks good. So Seoul to Narita, that's our alternate Korean Air 9084, constant X10, flight level 390. Triple pause, that's higher than we expect on average, so let's get 37023 in there. And there we go. Heading over to our flight plan. That all looks generally correct. Putting in departure 3, 4, 3, 3 right? Is that right? 3, 4 right. Interesting, it doesn't have those other runways available. That's super interesting, guys. Yeah, I can't choose that runway. Alright, well we'll have to adjust our flight plan. So give me 1 second here. So maybe it's not just the experimental build, maybe it's the so I'll go ahead and do I'll reload this page, update the time. Let's look at these charts again. And just looking at the lengths, let's go ahead and do 3-3 left. Get new SIDS and stars, and generate flights. Download the vpilot file. Alright, we'll quickly disconnect from Vatsim to clear out the flight plan. Reconnect and refile for the new runway and routing. Okay, filing the flight plan. And flight plan filed. Okay, so let's update everything here. Gotta be flexible with these things. Pull in from SimBrief. And there's our new routing. Very similar departure, but now it's Egoba 1 Alpha. So that should be this one. Get the taxi chart. And we're back in business. Heading to the McDo. Let's just make sure our weights and balances are still correct. Alright, a bit different, so let's get those additional passengers boarded. And let's get our latest plan from SimBrief. And just make sure that the right OFP pulls through, and it did. Great, so we're all updated there. Alright, coming back to the box then. Just got the new information from SimBrief. Just figure out where to find that here once we've already loaded something. Init press, init data request. Let's look at the flight plan now and compare it with this one, make sure it's still correct. You go back, Carbu, Taurus, Bixi. Kilo Alpha Echo, Pilot, Nimbus, Axis, Lanet, Dish Salmon, Swamp, to Romeo Juliet Alpha Alpha. Perfect. All good. Alright, so let's try that again. Let's get our departure in here. We are now 3-3 left. Is that right? 3-3 left. And the Agaba 1 Alpha. Perfect. And insert. Let's brief that new departure, just make sure we feel good about it. Alright, initial climb out is lower now to 2,000, increasing from there. But pretty much the same otherwise. And no rad navs from what I can tell. Excellent. So that's all good. Let's just make sure it looks correct from the plan view. And it does. That looks pretty good. And all the altitude restrictions in there. So excellent. We won't need to really pay attention to the chart. We could just follow that guidance there. Great. Okie dokie. Brief our new path to the runway. So we are at 2-3. We'll follow Romeo all the way to Bravo, follow Bravo to Golf, and we'll take off from there. Romeo, Bravo, Golf. Alright, continuing with the setup here. Go to init B at this point. Pull in 0 fuel weight, 55.2 tons, and that matches the flight plan. Block fuel, fueling is complete, 6.0. Let's get that crazy tailwind in there, tail of 80 knots. And get the rest of the fuel information as well. So 0.5, 1.2, and 0.8. 0.5, 1.2, and 0.8 is already in there. And that gives us... Because you know what? Our fuel changed, and this is a good reason why we check. So 6219. Got a bit more fuel for this routing. And once that refueling is done, we'll put the new fuel amount in and recalc and just make sure we're still good to go. So 6.2. Gives us 4 minutes of extra fuel. It's tight, but I think that'll be fine. Alright. Next up is performance, but let's just see the fuel prediction page. It still doesn't seem to work the way I expect it to on the ground. But in any case, we'll use this center of gravity as an estimate to get our trim in the performance page. So I'm going to pull up our calculator here. to calculate our performance takeoff, just to see. It is a contaminated runway tonight. So we'll see if we can actually get flex data, considering the crosswind as well. So 3-3 left, that's facing 3-3-3. Elevation is about 23 flat, nice and flat. The length is 3750. The winds, let's make sure it hasn't changed. So 170 at 8. Outside air temperature. Oh, sorry, wrong midside there. I was about to say that definitely doesn't make sense. 290 at 9. Outside air temperature is 7 degrees. QNH is still a 999. Takeoff weights is 61 tons. Flex takeoff, configuration 1, packs are off, and it is recommending a toga takeoff, which makes sense, honestly, probably because of the wet runway. So that's what we'll do. We won't do a flex tonight, but we will put in flaps 1 up 0.8. Flaps 1 will also help maximize our climb rate, even though we'll need to take off a bit faster. Transition altitude's correct, thrust reduction acceleration and engine acceleration altitudes are correct. No flex attempt tonight, so we'll just calculate our V speeds here. And there we go, all ready to go. Alright, so let us... Just going to adjust my seat position a bit here. Sorry, not controls. Because we're not quite center. That's a lot better. All right. So let's get the tug attached. Use this latest mod here to automate our pushback, which is a nice little feature. Alright, so we'll do a waypoint. We'll come back here, and then we'll get ourselves turned in the right direction over here. Excellent.
Cockpit to ground. This is ground. Stand by.
Alright, well they're connecting. We'll do our before start checklist to the line. Cockpit prep is complete. Fuel message is sent. Gear pins and covers are about to be removed. Signs are on and auto. IRSs are aligned. Fuel quantity is set at 6,200,000 grams. Takeoff data is set. Bow RF is set. Before start checklist to the line.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. The parking brakes are set. You may lift. Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
The seatbelt signs and fuel pumps
We're cleared for start and push.
turned on.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake. Parking brakes are released. Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence. It will start in the sequence.
Get the clock going and the chrono. Engine to start. Set to ignition. See the yellow hydraulic system start powering up. Start squawking on ATC on auto. Alright, igniter has stopped. Got to the engine page so we can see those details. Alright, engine 2 is available, engine 1 start. Reset the car now. Just over a minute, just about right on time. Does seem like the weather's improving.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake. Parking brake set. Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Alright, 2 good engine starts. We'll reset that car now.
Startup is complete. You may disconnect. Roger. Good engine start. Clear to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a good flight. Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
Alright, after start checklist, anti-ice is not required. ECAM status is checked. Set engine mode back to normal. Pitch trim is set to, what was it, 0.8. That's set. And rudder trim is set to 0.
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board. Your safety is our top.
Alright, so let's do a quick flight control check. Full left, full right, neutral, full down, full up, neutral, and rudder left, and rudder right, and neutral. Excellent. Alright, I think we are just about ready for taxi. We'll get flaps into takeoff configuration, and we'll arm the ground spoilers. Taxi lights are set. APU can come off. And let's roll. See, we started rolling immediately. I took those brakes off. Very interesting. These screens a bit brighter. Watch that ground speed. Alright, so before takeoff checklist to the line, flight controls are checked, flight instruments are checked, briefing is confirmed, flat setting is 1. V speeds and flex type are sent. We're doing a toga takeoff. ATC is set, ECAM memo. ECAM memo, takeoff, no blue. Man, we are flying. Are we really this light tonight? Make sure my thrust is actually neutral, and it is. Oh, we have another friend here. This is Alpha that we're approaching. We'll go over to Bravo. Actually, no. Let's treat it like a road. Let's go down Alpha. Using the tiller there to make that hard turn. Sticks a little bit sometimes. Alright, if we're going down Alpha, our left turn is still Golf. Alright, I assume this next one is going to be Golf. Let's see. Well, we have to turn regardless, and that looks like the end of the runway to me, so we'll go ahead and turn. We'll get weather and predictive wind shear system on. ATC can go on now as well. Alright, we're coming up to the hold points. Runway checked, 33 left. And slow down, just do our final checks. TCAS can come on now. And get our landing lights on. And take off nose lights. Alright, before takeoff checklist below the line, takeoff runway is confirmed, cabin crew is advised. TCAS is on TARA, engine mode is on normal, packs are on. Incheon traffic, Korean Air 9084 is taking off runway 33 left. Incheon traffic. Sure no one's coming in. Everything looks clear as far as we can tell. Didn't hear anyone make any radio calls either. And we'll make our turn. Make sure we're nice and lined up there in center. And we'll do rolling takeoff. Engines is 50% and stable. Toga. Mantoga SRS runway. Knots. V1, rotate. Positive rate gear up. And into the soup we go. Retract, thrust climb. Autopilot. Speed alt star. Spoilers can be disarmed. And we'll go up to 5,000 after we cross Alpha Delta 20. I think we're going to break out of this pretty quick. guys. Get the chrono going for our airtime. See some scenery down there. Alright, let's go up to 5,000. Let's check and see if there's any other traffic in our immediate area. And no, it's just us two. And there we go, we have broken out. Somewhat. Next step will be to 9,000. There was a speed restriction. So we'll manually do that now. It's 230 knots. Let's see when that speed restriction gets lifted. I'm going to use my charts on my iPad here, because it's just the latest Navigraph update just gives it such a hit. Let's go to 9,000. It's pretty upper cloud flying though, eh? Go. Beautiful. Oh, so you know what? Agaba 1 Alpha does not have that speed restriction. So we'll go back to manage speed. Probably because the climate altitudes, I think they're generally higher. Oh, look at the moon. Really got to brighten that screen up now. Alright, we'll climb up to 1,000. First climb. At this point, we'll get those landing lights off. Let's check the shear rate expected. Oh, pretty high at dish. can we keep the seatbelt signs off for now? Let's see. Yeah, so I guess around Nimitz, we'll start worrying about turbulence. Alright, we're now accelerating. At this point, I think we'll just clear ourselves. We're not going to see much scenery beneath us. So we'll just go up to 39,000 cruise altitude. And we'll go to standard QNH now that we've cleared ourselves above transition. We just saw that tape jump. That's the effect of the low local QNH of 0999. 999er. Is that the lowest it goes? It might be. Alright. This eCam display is brightened up as well. Lots of light up here above the clouds. Alright, we are well on our way now, my friends. Let's see if we can get a preview of our path tonight. Airports, there we go. So there's Nimitz. That's where we'll get the seatbelt signs on again. We'll turn them off for now. And now we'll just get to enjoy. Excuse me. Alright, when we get to cruise, we'll do our top of descent calculation, and then we'll brief our actual descent about 40 minutes away from estimated arrival. few bumps here, so we'll get that seatbelt sign on for now. And that tailwind has really kicked in. There it is, 80 knots. That's a thick, thick cloud there, eh? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Just got ground controller at Gimpo. Knew we'll still get lucky. I see Osaka approaches online. They've been online for a while. Let's see if there's any other traffic expected at Narita tonight. And see. Excuse me, flight from Los Angeles and a flight from St. Louis. Goodness gracious. That's a long flight. What airframe is that? MD-11. Oh, classic plane. And that looks like what's the call sign? Mass 7521. It could be a cargo plane. Oh, no, it's Malaysian Airlines. Oh, Godspeed to you, sir. That is a long flight.
The fact that everyone is going to be able to light the barbecue in about a week's time is just going to be awesome.
A lot of streamers on Flight Sim tonight, which makes sense. Good old Friday night. Hello, we are climbing quick. Our climb rate is still pretty impressive given the insane tailwind we have. Yes, 60,000 kilograms. Huh. Still bumpy. This might be the theme for the trip. Alright, well at this rate we'll get to top of climb in about 3 minutes. Well ahead of, approximately at Taurus. And what was our estimate here? Yeah, no, we got to top of climb real quick. So hopefully that means we'll pick up more speed here. That has our Mach number dropping. Oh, interesting. I normally don't follow the flight plan speeds here. But I'm very curious why it's so all over the place. Super bumpy, look at that. Alright, so in about 2 minutes we will calculate our top of descent. We will get our charts all organized. We'll see when we should start planning for our descent. And then we'll likely have time to chat, hang out. Kids sleeping upstairs. Nice and quiet in the house. Can't ask for a nicer Friday night. So I'll probably only be able to get about 1 or 2 more of these round the world trip streams in before I need to start prepping for Across the Pond next week. So a week from tomorrow, if you're not aware of the Vatsim network, what that's all about, it's a flight sim network that works across all flight simulators, at least all the major ones, that connects you directly to a virtual air traffic control network of real people. And these virtual ATC folk have to pass all kinds of tests and exams to actually be an air traffic controller on Vatsim, which is pretty awesome, which means they are a stickler for procedure, a stickler for process. So if you don't know your IFR procedures, you got to study up before you log on to Vatsim. But twice a year they host an event called Across the Pond. In the fall they do Eastbound, where folks fly from North America to Europe and surrounding areas. Oops.
gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, and Captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As we begin to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your feet and elbows clear from the aisle, as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
Apologies for that. Just had to take care of something real quick, but we are back and we are at cruise altitude. So let's go ahead and figure out when we need to get down. Alright, so we can clear these charts, so we are done with them. For Narita, and then 20-9 Bravo for the stands. Just get there locked in. The star, we're looking for the... What are we flying in there? Let's see, I've already forgotten. The Swamp November. There goes Swamp November. And looking at Swamp November, initial bottom out, well, initial like main flight restriction is 9,000 at Playa, but we don't want to go below 11,000. So we'll put in Vixen for our initial descent point. And we want to get to 11,000 feet, so let's get our calculator here. Current altitude down to 11,000. This is probably conservative because we are going so fast over the ground that we'll slow up as we descend. But let's give us 90 nautical miles to Vixen. So we'll come in here, do flight plan, get to the fixes, put in Vixen. Oh, missed the eye there. I'll draw a radius of 90 nautical miles. And we'll just double check. Oop. I've encountered this bug before. The field is still active. On the fly pad. Oh, that's really annoying. There we go. And then we click out of it, and we're back to normal. That's how you fix that bug. Alright, so we were checking our flight plan here to see if we could see top of descent. We might still be too far away. It looks like we are. But it is programmed in there, no problem. We are expected to land at 15 past 3, so in just over an hour. So we have got some time before we need to worry about descent prep. So yeah, here you can see the weather we're flying towards. It's kind of cleared up nicely in South Korea. And Tokyo might be fine when we get there as well, but we're definitely following the system though as we approach Tokyo. And current conditions at 1:30 Zulu is still light showers and rain. Alright, I'm actually going to do some flight planning here. Looking ahead, we have a long flight, so once we get to Japan, we're going to head north to another airport, I think near Sapporo. It'll be a quick hop, but then the flight after that is quite long. We'll be tracking these islands up into this point in Russia. And I want to see if there's a closer point to try to reduce that trip length. It'll be long. So what if we try, I see there is ATC online right now at Uniform Hotel Sierra Sierra. So let's see what that flight looks like. Uniform Hotel Sierra Sierra. That's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's shorter, and then from there to UHPP, Uniform Hotel Papa Papa. It does even out a bit. It is net longer overall, so it's slightly out of our way. We might just have to bite the bullet and do the long one night. No problem. We can take a look at Navigraph though, so we see any other airports. So looking for it here. Alright, so that's the option that I was considering. Where's Romeo Juliet Charlie Charlie? Let's see. Oh, it is Sapporo. Okay, so there it is. There's a number of airports along the routing. It all depends if they have a long enough runway. So it's pretty short. That's better. That's really short. These are all about the same runway length. I don't want the VOR. Where's the airport? Come on. There you go. Alright, so 2,500 meters versus, what's this? 2,200 meters. Let's just do some landing tests here. So if we were to land there, let's see. Well, first let's check the length. So Uniform Hotel Sierra India. Two hours and 15, that's nice. So if that works out, that would be a good option. So UHCI, FBWA rather, sorry, get METAR. Possible there's no METAR information available, which also makes it a bit of a problem. Let's do Romeo Juliet Charlie Charlie as a proxy. Interesting, even that still doesn't have METAR information. Alright, so we'll just do Tokyo. Probably not a great comp, but close enough. Let's look at these charts. Oh boy, okay, that's short. I mean, it should be fine, but let's see. Runway altitude. So we'll call it 370 feet. Runway heading. Let's just do 125. That's for the wind direction that we're using. Dry conditions, full flaps. We do have reverse thrust. Runway slope is 0. The length in meters, this is the biggie. So 2301. Approach speed, if we did it nice and slow, let's do 135. So we just have to use more aggressive braking. But we could make that work. Alright. Let's just see if Sapporo is a nice looking airport. Because it seems like a fun place to land, that might be worth it. Yeah, I mean, it's a much larger airport, of course. But something to think about. Alright, just about 500 miles to go. And not too many waypoints, really. See any land through all that cloud. top of descent is starting to peek through there a little bit, so about 260, 70 miles, I'd say. And we're making up some time. We should start briefing our descent in, call it 5 minutes. Definitely flying over some landmass now. You'd never be able to tell with all this cloud cover. Goodness. Alright, so we're about 40 minutes away from the airport. Let's go ahead and brief our arrival. So we are anticipating runway 16 right. Let's see if that jives with our wind data. Yep, so winds are 170 at 9 knots. That's practically a headwind. So we will fly that arrival. So let's get our charts together. I think we got Swamp November already. We got our airport charts. Let's just go ahead and brief that more in depth, and then we'll get the box set up. So we'll be descending to 11,000 feet at Vixen, and then 9,000. Let's cross Playa at 9,000 at 210 knots. There's a speed restriction there. And we'll be following Swamp November, so we'll be coming out here over the ocean. Still at 210 knots. And we'll fly the approach to Norma, and then we'll transition from Norma to our approach. And we are 16 right. We'll do one of these IL. Oh, there's a lot of ILSs to choose from, so let's take a look at these. Alright, so it's for Cat 2 and Cat 3. Will be at least a Cat 2. So, oh, I see. So it's either Yankee or Zulu, and there's just two charts for each. This starts at Norma. Does Yankee start Norma as well? It does. So this gives us a bit more of a longer straight-in approach. So let's do the Zulu. We'll be on runway course about 18 miles out. Okay, great. So we'll pin that chart. And yeah, I think with that, let's see, we'll be intercepting the glide slope at 4,000 feet. And looking at the star, yeah, we'll be at 9,000 feet, and I guess we'll descend from Norma. Or we'll want to get to Norma at 6,000. Okay. Okie dokie. Cool. Let's get that programmed in. So coming here to the box. We'll be arriving runway 16 right. ILS Zulu. 16 right Zulu. And we'll be flying the Swamp November. There it is. Norma transition. And insert. And let's take a closer look at this routing. Make sure it looks good to us. Good plan. Alright, so there is Swamp, Vixen. And then we should see ourselves fly over the ocean and loop around. That looks good. And then we'll connect up with Norma. And then we'll be on this approach plates. And we'll fly Acela, Pixis, Brook. That'll get us all the way in. And let's see what kind of constraints we have there. Alright, so it looks like the appropriate constraints are there. So we might be able to we can't really rely on managed. We can rely on managed altitude to probably keep us going until 4,000 feet. Let's see. Not really. Not really. We'll have to manage that ourselves coming in. And speed, of course, we'll do ourselves as well. Okay. Well, that looks good. I think it's in the box just fine. Let's see if there are any RADNAVs to be aware of. We have the Narita VOR. And nothing here. Jeez, can't stop yawning tonight. Alright, so November Romeo Echo. With 7.9, that is correct. And all good there. Alright, so we can shut down Navigraph for a bit. Just remind ourselves our initial descent will be to 11,000 feet. So we can go ahead and prep that in the FMC and activate it when ready. That's below transition altitude. Hey Ivan, how's it going? Welcome to Twitch. Oh, and I see you pinged me on YouTube as well. Sorry if I missed you there. Yeah, we tried the VNAV on the last flight we did, and I'd say overall they did a phenomenal job. We got really hung up though on the approach, because it seemed like when we went to program the McDo, not all of the approaches were there and available. Which means that if you want to fly Vatsim and you need to be flexible and be able to fly any approach that ATC assigns to you, the experimental build with VNAV could leave you in a lurch. So I've made the decision to revert back to the development build so long as I'm flying on Vatsim. But if it's a quiet night like tonight, honestly, like ATC is not online in Japan at the moment. They were before, but they're not on now. Like you could use the experimental build to use VNAV just fine. I will not be flying tomorrow, unfortunately. I'm not sure when the next opportunity I'll have, maybe Sunday night. But next week I'll be converting to Cross the Pond prep. Because a week from tomorrow is the Cross the Pond event. I was able to get a route from Amsterdam to Boston. And in order to do Cross the Pond, I can't do it in the Neo. It doesn't have the range. So I'm going to be training on the Boeing 787 next week using the Heavy Division mod. I'll do a practice flight from Amsterdam to someplace in Great Britain to practice the departures. And then I'll do a stateside flight to Boston to practice the arrivals. But also need to figure out when I can do those. But with certainty, I'll be doing Amsterdam to Boston next Saturday, wheels up at 11:15 Zulu, give or take. But Ivan, one of these days we should definitely figure out a time to fly together, because that'd be fun as hell. Yeah, I'll see if I can make Sunday night work. The next flight will be Tokyo to Sapporo. So not too long either. I think the block time for that... Look at my notes here. Block time from Narita to Sapporo, about 1 hour and 45. So, quick hop. Have you been doing much flying at the moment? Hey main threadad, how's it going? Welcome back. I'm using the fly-by-wire A320neo mod. It is a completely separate aircraft to what's stock in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it is a free mod. And it's something that a really skilled group of volunteer developers have been working on for well over a year and are updating constantly. So it's not a complete mod, but it's by far the best study level aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim by far. So that's the fly-by-wire A320neo. Yeah, of course. Ivan and I were just chatting about the VNAV feature, which has been probably the most anticipated update to this mod from the sim community. And it works great. It's just it's not quite ready for Vatsim flying just yet. Yeah, Ivan, really is. They've done a phenomenal job. I like the little details they're adding. Like they a couple of weeks back, they added aileron and elevator droop, meaning that when the hydraulic systems aren't powered, the fins actually sink because of gravity. Like, it's such a ridiculous detail, but they've modeled it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping other developers follow in their footsteps. I know some folks working on Microsoft Flight Sim mods had to kind of shut their operations down either because of money or time, but the fly-by-wire guys seem to have it all together. They're also working on an A380, which would be the dream. Like, if I could do cross the pond with a fly-by-wire A380, that'd be so much fun. Yeah, I noticed that too. I didn't see that in the experimental build, but when I loaded this tonight, I'm like looking at these reflections, these screens look so good. And there's definitely like more wear and tear detail on the cockpit in the development build versus the experimental. Like even seeing like the footprints on the rudders, like that's nuts. The experimental build looks very clean in comparison, but no, this screen reflection is just, what a good job. So awesome. Is it just me or are these clouds creeping up on us? Just gonna check on the flight plan. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you get a vertical profile chart, and it maps out where the tropopause is on your routing. At least I think that's what this line represents. So where we are now on the flight plan, the tropopause is like well above us, and that's effectively where you would expect weather to stop. So if you're below the tropopause, you could get into weather. And that seems to be exactly what's happening. And look at this, you can see the terrain of Korea and the terrain of Japan. Like, look at that. That is nuts. That tops out at about 10,000 feet, what we're flying over. Just I wish we could see it. There's too much cloud. It does seem like things are getting bumpy at the moment. Vertical speed is all over the place. Yeah, that is bumpy. So yeah, appreciate you guys joining the channel tonight. There's a lot of flight sim streamers online at the moment, so thanks for choosing this one. That just looks so uncomfortable. Oh, these poor guys. Look at that. We were expecting this, so we're on our way to Swamp. If I scroll back up. So I wonder if it's like this. I don't know exactly how to read the SIGWIX charts just yet, but my guess is crossing this line is probably bumpy. It's just my guess. But we can run up here. Great, I'm so sorry, Ivan. We'll pay for your dry cleaning, I promise. Yeah, so Dish, I think we just passed Dish here at 5.1. We're on our way to Salmon, also 5.1. So it's gonna be bumpy for the rest of our cruise. Good thing we'll be descending in just about 90 miles. That is bad. This is bad. Oh my goodness. Hold on. That is a terrifying angle, by the way. But let's go to... You might know where I'm heading. I always forget which camera it is, though. Oh, yeah. Look at that wing flex there. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh, mother. Hear the engines thrusting up and down. Check out the contrails behind us. Like, my heart's racing, and it's not even real. Let's see. Still pretty quiet. Quite a few flights at Sapporo at the moment. Alright, 60 miles. Let's brief ATIS at this point. Well, it's not ATIS, it's just the Metzar, really. Wish we had ATIS, but no. So Romeo, Juliet, Alpha, Alpha. This is a 230 Zulu report, so nice and recent. Winds are 170 at 13 knots. Reporting, variable between 140 and 200. Good visibility, but reporting light showers and rain. 1500 ceiling. 17 degrees. QNH 1016. And temporary. Oh, gusting to 25 knots. Oh, okay. Let's be careful of that. Alright, so let's get arrival information programmed in. So, QNH 1016. Temperature is that's 17 degrees. Did I read that right? And 170 at 13 is the wind. Transition level for this approach. Is 14,000 feet, so that's correct. And radio minimum's 100 feet for the Cat 2. Nice and standard. Alright, approach speed is nice and slow as well. Cool. We will do full flaps. But we don't have to. We could do flaps 3. I need to study up more on what's better in high winds. Okay. Yep, 17 degrees in Japan, in Tokyo. Getting close to that top of descent there. Very interesting to see how high these clouds actually are. Oof. This is pretty bad. It's gotta make it like another 20 miles. Alright, we're picking up the Narita VOR. $20 miles. It seems like it's calmed down a little bit. Just in time for us to descend. Nope, still bumpy. Wow. All right, here we go. And open descent. Thrust idle. And since we've cleared ourselves below the transition, we'll get to local QNH and 1016.
From the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated till the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
And there's our approach coming into view. So with the crazy approach, we're expecting to land in about 20 minutes. Let's keep an eye out for the first waypoint we need to adhere to speed restriction. So that would be at Playa. Oh, but only for Swamp Golf. Okay. Okay, never mind. So I see, okay, so we do have max 230 knots at or below flight level 140, max 240 above 140. That's for the hold. Alright, very good. Alright, so we'll need to get down to 9,000 by Alpha Alpha 657. Alright. We're in the clouds already, we're at 32,000 feet. That's crazy. The title didn't lie, we are in IMC. Let's look at that weather map again. Yeah, it should be fine. Once we get lower, hopefully. Down we go. Starting to lose speed on that Mach value. So the flight plan, yeah, it's affecting our arrival time just a little bit. Still about 20 minutes out. We're breaking out of this layer. And there's Japan. Okay. Well, we still got a lot more to chop through, but there's hope. That golf course? That looks like a golf course. Looks like several golf courses. So we've got a really healthy tailwind. It's impacting our ability to lose altitude quickly enough, honestly. We're still going to be well above 11,000 when we get to Vixen, but that should not be a problem. So one of my favorite parts about flying into Narita is the views of Mount Fuji, but I really don't think we're going to get that today. These cloud layers are so interesting. It's like really high level and then just these really fluffy looking horrible storm clouds down below. With plenty of gaps to see the land. That's just wild. Alright, yeah, we're ending up at like 4,000 feet higher than we wanted to at this point, but again, we have plenty of time to get down. Anti-ice detected. Look at that. Wasn't expecting icing tonight. Look at the temperatures. Yeah, that is icing conditions for sure. What are we looking at there? What are... Oh, that's nuts. We're heading right for it. Alright, we've still got that, now we've got a pretty significant crosswind now, which is causing us to crab, as you can see. We're tracking roughly 140, but we're deflecting almost like 13 degrees just to stay on that path. Alright, so we'll stay here as long as we can. Yeah, no, seriously, the clouds. I know we always talk about the clouds, Ivan, but you can't stop talking about the clouds. They look fantastic. Again, I've never seen them quite like this. With these layers. Oh, God. Look at those colors. It's like... it's all going on the Instagram. Alright, approaching 11,000 feet. And again, we'll stay here as long as we can because we don't want to be in the clouds for too long. But we will need to get to 9,000 by Alpha Alpha 657. Speed Alt Star. Take a look at our approach checklist. Briefing is confirmed. ECAM status is checked. Landing distance is confirmed, seatbelts are on, bow ref is set, minimums are set, and engine mode is on normal. Approach checklist complete. Peek outside. Wowza. It's just like a wall of, like, death and destruction. We're still looking like we'll be on the ground in 20 minutes. I think once we are tracking to 656, we'll get ourselves down to 9,000. There's a bit of a gap in the clouds here, so. You see the white caps on the water there, eh? It's windy. Alright, let's get down to 9,000. Alright, let's get those landing lights on. See those deploy. There they go. Right underneath the wings. They provide a little bit of drag because they kind of pop out a little bit. You can see them just hanging out down there. Approaching at 9,000, and then once we pass Alpha 657, we'll want to get down to 6,000 by Norma. Indeed. I'm expecting some chop. Although we should be getting a pretty direct headwind. Let's see if the METAR has been updated. 230 Zulu. We're landing runway 16. So conditions might be right for a truly butter landing, assuming there are no gusts to deal with. But I think actually, yeah, there's still this temporary advisory of 15 knot winds gusting to 25 knots. But if anything, that will just slow us down over the ground, hopefully, if it stays at 170. In any case, my landings have been crap lately, so really looking for a win here. Alright, outer tank transfer pumps just engaged. Nothing to worry about, but just, you know, we're getting towards the lower end of our fuel. You can see that visualized. We go to the fuel page, and there you see, only one side is transferring right now. The green triangle indicates that we're pumping fuel out of the wingtips. Now we're beginning our inbound approach. Alright, and there's Norma coming into view. That's where our star ends, and we'll want to be at 6,000 feet by then. There's our runway coming into view as well. So somewhere out there is where we're landing. Now, once we cross Barron, we'll get ourselves down to 6,000. Then we'll stay at 6,000 until Acela, and then we'll get down to 4,000, which is where we will intercept the glide slope. Now, I do have the custom Narita airport scenery installed, so if we can get to see the airport, it should look very pretty. And destroy my frame rate, that's fine. Yeah, it looks real bad. That storm looks real nasty. Although, what are the ceilings? The ceilings were high-ish. Yeah, few at 15, scattered at 2,000, broken at 17. I guess that's what's right above us, 17,000 broken. But minimum should not be a problem today. Alright, let's get down to 6. Cross idle, open descent. So now we've got a straight 50-knot crosswind coming from the other direction. So we're deflecting left, looking like about 10 degrees off our track. It's crazy, like I've been doing these jetliners so much that 6,000 feet seems so close to the ground, but this is basically where like GA aircraft would fly. And the crosswind's lightening up a little bit. We're expecting it to become a full headwind when we're on final approach. Let's hope that's the case. Alright, so this is our approach plate. So 6,000 at Norma. We'll want to be at 4,000 by Pixis. We'll intercept Grebby for the glide slope straight down. Easy. Not a problem. Just quickly look at the misapproach just in case. Climb to 800 on heading 157 and climb to 6,000. So put in 6,000 in the box once we're established. Industrial area we're flying over. Yeah, I'll do my best, Ivan. All I want is butter. I'm just craving pure unsalted butter. Alright, ice not detected. Anti-ice off. Just a quick look at the temperatures. Nicely above freezing, so I don't need to worry about icing anymore. That was a surprise, getting to icing warning, honestly. That was a surprise. Airport about 18 miles to our left. Can't see a thing. I have a feeling we're going to be in that on the final approach. Oh, Lord. Just nope. Just nope. Nope City. Here we go, guys. Get ready for IMC. Wow. There's just something very chilling about that transition. Our screens are now way too bright. Yeah, isn't it? If anything, this will be entertaining. I'm more than happy to entertain you at the expense of my nerves. We'll get 4,000 ready in the box. I don't want to keep fiddling with the brightness here. Oh, nice. What inspired you to fly Japan? Yeah, it must have been very pretty. Sunny day. Alright, let's get our landing system on. Yeah, it's a place I've never been to. I had a layover at Narita once, but never actually left the airport. My wife has been to Japan and absolutely loved it, raved about it, but I haven't made it there myself. Alright, let's get down to 4,000. We're 20 miles. I think we'll activate, once we get to 4,000, we'll activate the approach and we'll start to configure. Alright, not convinced we're going to get that headwind. See if there's a new METAR. Nope. We'll see. We'll see if things change. We still have 20 miles to go. Alright, alt. Still waiting to pick up that ILS. It's like little breaks in the clouds are just unreal. Alright, there's the ILS coming in. Let's activate the approach. And we'll arm the approach. Lodestar, Cat 3 single, autopilot 2. Look. Alright, that headwind's insane. Look at our ground track is already underneath 200 knots. Where's that glide slope? There it is. It's making me nervous here. Alright, speed checked, flaps 1. Glide slope star. There is scenery for Narita Airport, but I believe it is payware. It's available in the Microsoft Store. Glide slope. Speed check flaps 2. Look at our missed approach altitude in the FMC there. Narita traffic, Korean Air 9084 is on 10-mile final for the ILS runway 16 right. Narita traffic. Gear coming down. Ground spoilers armed. And we've got 3 green on the gear. Definitely got a hell of a crosswind, but we'll see if that lightens up as we get lower. But that is insane right now. I'm hoping once we're below the cloud layer, it will lighten up, but we'll see. But we're moving so slow over the ground. It's crazy. We're almost at the approach speed for like a Cirrus. Oh, what happened to my Wi-Fi?
2,500.
Radio altimeter is alive. Speed check flaps 3. Speed check flaps full. Yeah, a little daunting. A little bit. Sorry, my secondary computer lost its internet connection, so I might be a bit more delayed on chat, but I'm probably going to be focused on this landing until we get there. Look at how we're crabbing here. Jeez, what is happening to those clouds? My internet might just be crapping out in general, so apologies if the stream is dying. It's slowly becoming more of a headwind. We kind of see the crab correcting itself as we get lower. Yeah, I'm not taking it off autopilot until this becomes more stable. 1,000.
1,000.
Right, landing checklist. Cabin crews advised, auto throttles on speed, auto brake is set to low, ECAM memo, landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. Alright, there's that headwind. It's settling in. At 500 we'll go to manual. Hopefully I don't regret that decision. If I butter this, everyone watching has to follow. That's the deal.
300. 300. 100 above.
Continue.
Minimum.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20. Retard. 10, 5, 5.
Come on. Reverse green. Decel. $70 knots. Rolling out. Sounds like I just got an achievement. Pull off the runway here. Narita traffic, Korean Air 9084 is clear of runway 16 right. Narita traffic. Alright, let's bring it to a stop here. Oh boy. Hope my stream is still live. I'm definitely having internet weirdness. But no, it seems like I'm still online. Thank goodness. Just my chat's not working, so apologies, guys. While we're here, let's clean up, get the APU started. 1, 2, 3. That wasn't too bad. I definitely floated. That seems to be my new problem. Before I was slamming things down, but now I'm just floating down the runway. But I guess it's better if the runway is long enough. It's definitely better to float than to not, is my assumption. All right, we'll turn the runway turn-off lights. That's fine. We'll clean up landing system, flight director, constraints. TCAS and ATC can go to auto, TCAS to standby. Weather systems can come off. And after landing checklist, so flaps, oh, not retracted yet. Flaps are coming back up. Speed brakes are disarmed. APU is coming online. Radar and predictive wind shear system is off. And we'll do a 2-engine taxi. Alright. So yeah, let's figure out where we're going. That would be important. Oh. Development build seems to roll away from me, by the way. It doesn't require any thrust. It just rolls at idle. Alright, so we count off. We're at Alpha 6. And let's go to Terminal 2 so we can tour the scenery a bit. So Alpha 6, here we are. We'll go straight down. We'll cut over to Whiskey. Yeah, I guess Whiskey 10. Oh, and then we could follow Tango all the way. And let's park, make a left Tango 10. Let's park at 94. Nah, screw it. Let's get to this main point. Let's park at like 93. So follow Tango all the way to Papa. Okay, should be evident once we get there. All right, let's go. Chat is still not working, so apologies. Oh, thanks, Ivan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I did hear an achievement, like, notification, but I don't know where that came from. But if that was you somehow controlling my computer, I appreciate it. Okay, chat is back up for me, so I will not miss any more messages. But yeah, if you think that counted as a butter landing, I expect you all to hold up your side of the bargain and hit that follow button. Alright. Let's take a look at this custom Narita scenery. Oh, and looks like there are some Vatsimmers online here. Unless it's a part of the scenery. You know, it could be part of the scenery, but or is it Vatsim? I don't know. Nope, we're alone here. That's part of the scenery. So I think even though I turned off ground traffic, I think the scenery still must populate some, I guess. Alright, so this must be Tango. We'll go ahead and follow this. And once we're on the straightaway, we'll go ahead and take a closer look at the scenery. Maybe I can do a one-engine taxi, because we're just going to pick up way too much speed with both engines running. Yeah, I have to check my settings again. If this is random traffic, at least it is populating with all the AIG liveries that I've downloaded and synced. So there's Air India, there's ANA. And these are appropriate for Narita. Alright. One engine taxi arrival APU is started. Alright, we can go ahead and shut down engine 2 and turn on the yellow electric pump. There we go, engine 2 is shutting down. We'll get the, we don't need the APU bleed just yet. So let's get a view outside. Take a look at this airport. Looks pretty good. I mean, it's massive, right? But you can see that the interior of the terminals are all rendered. Yeah, the AIG is a pain in the ass. Not gonna lie, it takes forever because there's a lot of files. And creating the VMR file is awful. So I actually wrote a script to automate it, so I only had to go through the pain once. So now I can create new VMR files on demand whenever they update the files and you download updated liveries. So I started posting my VMR files to flightsim.to. So if you search my handle on flightsim.to, Mike November Whiskey, you'll be able to find it. And I'm planning to, on the 1st of every month, update my VMR file, post it there. So if anyone wants to do model matching using AIG, you guys don't have to go through the pain I had to. So feel free to check that out. It's super cool. Look at that. Yeah, also, Ivan, let me know if you do end up using that VMR. Let me know how you like it. I've been trying to spot check the model matching wherever I can. Actually, there was another Vatsimmer in Korea when we departed tonight, and the model matching was working. It was a fellow Korean Air flight, and it had the right livery, the right Boeing model. Oh, just search for my handle. So Mike November Whiskey. Same one that I use on Twitch. I think the page is like Ultimate AIG VOR. Or VMR, rather. Okay, so we'll follow Papa. You see, with the payware scenery, you get the taxiway markers on the ground. It's just so clear. It's nice. So we want to go around this terminal. Just got to kind of get the full view. I'm really liking these ground planes. Alright, now we're crawling with just one engine. Give a little bit of thrust. And then Japan Airlines. That's what I flew to Hong Kong when I had my layover in Narita. Alright, so we're coming up in our stands here. So what do we say, like 93? Go ahead and get the rest of my lights off here. So there's 95, 93 will be the next one. Just make sure no one's there. Nope, nice and empty. Oop. Actually turn on the takeoff lights. Here's 93. And we'll start pulling in. Says the can't read it from this far, but we'll just approximate it. Oh, there was the A321. That would have been ours. That's fine. That's fine. No one's gonna shout at us for that. All right, parking brake engaged. APU is on line. Get the APU bleed on. Shut down engine 1. Seatbelt signs off. Let's call that jetway. And some power. Here it comes. And we'll do our parking checklist. So electric pump can come off. If you bleed is on, engines are off, seatbelt signs are off, exterior lights as required, so beacon comes off. Fuel pumps come off. And parking brakes are on, parking checklist complete. Now let's go ahead and secure. So brake temperature is fine. I checked that casually before. IRSs can come off. Crew supply can come off. Start shutting down these lights. Nope. This way. There we go. Nav and logos. Get external power on. We can shut down the APU. And overhead looks good to me. Go ahead and shut down the rest of these things here. And I'll get the runtime off. Just over 2 hours, 20 minutes of engine time. Radios. Now that all looks good. Great, so while we wait for that APU to shut down, let's take a look around. Let's tour the scenery a bit. Let's get a nice overhead, take a look at what we got. So, looks like we've got some custom buildings around here. I'm guessing these are like the various airport hotels. There's Japan Airlines. That might be an office. That's a nice detail. All these parking lots, parking garages. Oh yeah. Daily short-term parking. Arrivals here. We've got the cars. These are definitely a part of the scenery. They're not moving. They're definitely not the stock flight sim ones, but it's a nice touch. Got the towers here. And if you're on Vatsim, see if I can get, I think my drone speed's too quick, but I know some of the controllers like to put their drone camera in the tower so they could actually see, scope out the airport from up here. Ah, wrong button. It looks like there's multiple towers. Super cool. Alright. And what I like about the scenery, it's not killing my frame rate. Not at all. I'm getting what I would normally get at a procedurally generated airport. The taxiway detail is also awesome. Alright, so this looks like the hangars, some cargo. Oh, this is cool. This one has the nose open. That's a nice detail. I appreciate that. We can actually go into the ANA hangars. This is kind of like beyond what they really needed to do, but it's a really nice touch. Really nice touch. Oh, and Delta has hangars here. Nice. Alright, what else? What else can we pick out here? So we did see those terminals that are rendered on the inside. Oh, we got some people in mid-stride. Look at that. Just hanging out. It's like one of those photos when you're like seeing new buildings that are going to be constructed and they put these like weird fake drawings of people that are just in weird positions. Like that's what these people are. Very nicely done. I do like the custom jetways. All the ground vehicles. This is really nice. And again, just the frame rate is butter. It is not overtaxing my system at all. Nice 787 here. Oh wow. And they actually got like the brand names. I got Sephora and Nike. Burberry. Like you could tell the person who built this, or the people who built this, really love this airport. That's kind of the feeling you get. So highly recommend. This jetway didn't seem to really work though. There is definitely an issue with the jetways at the moment. Is that scenery made by Orbix? It feels like an Orbix scenery, although honestly I can't remember. I bought it so long ago. But they do make some of the best, that's for sure. Alright, so let's hop back in. APU is definitely shut down at this point, so let's do our securing the aircraft checklist. Brake temperatures checked, IRSs are off, oxygen's off, APU bleeds off. Emergency exits and no smoking signs are off. APU and battery, that's the last thing to do. Get those batteries off. Disconnect from external power. And we are back to cold and dark. Alright. That takes us to about midnight East Coast time, and I should really get some sleep because my kids will wake me up before 7 guaranteed. So just want to thank you guys again for joining us tonight. That was a fun one. Hopefully we'll be back online Sunday night. Lower chance tomorrow night, but we'll see. I'll try to be better about posting my schedule. So if maybe you guys want to fly with me, looking at you, Ivan, excuse me, we can do that. That'd be fun. But let's try to shoot for Sunday, and I'll see if I can make that work. And then next week we'll do the training flights. We'll do the across the pond prep flights in the 787. And next Saturday will be the big event. I'll be online at like 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 Zulu, to prep for our across the pond from Amsterdam to Boston. That'll be a good time. Yeah, Ivan. Yeah, I will definitely do what I can to make Sunday work for sure. If not, rain check. Great. Well, have a great night, everyone. Safe travels wherever your travels may take you. This is Mike November Whiskey signing off.